Just a quick heads up before we get into the video, we have got a Sky Sports Fantasy League. I know Elliot's been going on about it in the past couple of videos. If you want to join, I'll leave everything in the description down below. Get in before the season starts on Saturday. All the codes and everything, as I said, in the description below. So, let's get into the video. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Dave here from the Bear Pit TV, and today, as you all know, on Saturday we go to the Riverside to face Middlesbrough in our first Premier League game of the season. And it's my pleasure to say I'm joined here with Dave Roberts from Up The Boro TV. How are you doing, mate?
I'm alright, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So, we're going to be previewing today's game. Basically what I'm going to do, I'm asking you a couple of questions, what you think for the season, that sort of thing. So, firstly, you got promoted last season. How does it feel to be back in the Premier League?
It's fantastic. 7 years is a long time to be out of the top flight. We were a club who were certainly not the glamorous side, so to be there with the Ravanellis, the Janinios, the Emersons, Boxic's, we sampled that, went to a UEFA Cup final, and then to be dumped out of the Premier League and be out so long was a bit of a heartbreak, really. But we're back there, and we're looking forward to it. Just that case of Stoke City now from what could be a honeymoon start.
Yeah, so when the fixtures came out, what did you think when you got Stoke at home first? I know a home game would have been what most people wanted, but was Stoke really a team that you were thinking about facing for your first Premier League game?
Probably not by name. There's a lot of people around here on Teesside obviously wanted to see one of the big clubs. They wanted to see a United or a Liverpool or an Arsenal or a Chelsea. But that home advantage on the opening game of the season is all that's important. And there's quite a few people now looking at the first handful of games as a potential for getting some points in the bag. I know your guys will not agree with that, but the fact that we don't face the big guns initially might just set that little bit of a platform to gather a few points and get a bit of confidence.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it was something, especially when we first got promoted. I remember you guys were in there with us on our first season, and home games were particularly massive for getting points because you get the crowd behind everyone, and it certainly adds that extra 12 man. It really drives the team on. We really thrived on home points. I mean, in the past couple of seasons, it's sort of changed for us, but definitely in the first couple where you're trying to rebuild, home games are really, really important.
Yeah, and straight off the back of this one, we've got Sunderland away as well, which is a bit of a northeast derby, something we haven't savoured for 7 years while we've been out of the Premier League. So, the fans are looking at it and thinking, Stoke, well, if we can get off to a decent start and the gods are with us, then we go into the Sunderland game, the usual cliche of anything can happen, could be 3 points up at the Stadium of Light. That could put us onto an ideal run. We're going to need points early. I'm not one who's subscribing to doing a Leicester City, as some foolish people have been saying. I think, we need to take the points where we can.
So, talk to me about your transfer window. You brought a couple of people in. Has it gone well for you so far? Are you ready for Saturday's game?
Yeah, absolutely. 8 and some more still coming before the window closes, we've been told. It's been interesting. Before the season ended in the Championship last season, we looked at the likes of David Nugent, Jordan Rhodes to come in and bolster the forward line, but it's Negredo who's come in, vastly experienced, scores goals internationally, goal in every 2 games. That's a big signing for us.
I think Negredo is the big one. I think definitely a team like I didn't expect him to go to a team like Middlesbrough. I think a lot of teams, sort of the size of Stoke as well, were looking at a striker. I know we've been looking at people like Robin van Persie, that sort of level of striker. And I think definitely Negredo would have been fantastic for a team like us as well. And I'm just really surprised that Middlesbrough have got him in the end.
It's the Spanish link, isn't it? It's Carranca. He used to play for Real Madrid. Aitor. He's got that sort of pull with the Spanish players. Just like Newcastle went down the French route, we seem to have gone down the Spanish route. It's obviously personal contacts that's done it to bring Negredo to Middlesbrough. They wanted a proper deal doing, but Carranca's weaved his magic and he's got a loan deal for the rest of the season. There'll obviously be some sort of commitment to buy at the end of that, I'm sure. But I think he could be. He's already scored in pre-season, scored against Villa. He's looking good. He's looking sharp. And the fact we managed to retain or sign on a permanent basis Gaston Ramirez, the two of them have looked as though there's a natural understanding. Ramirez behind as your number 10 in midfield, Negredo up front feeding off him. Both understand each other. One Uruguayan, one Spanish. There seems to be an understanding there. That could be, that spine, particularly up front, could be what gets us the handful of goals that keeps us in the Premier League.
Yeah, definitely. I think it could be really dangerous for you guys. Is there anyone else that maybe Stoke fans maybe didn't think about? Is there anyone dangerous in your team that we should be looking at on Saturday when I go up there, and a lot of other fans up there should be looking at in the game?
Victor Fisher, possibly, if he plays. He's looked very sharp. He's the young Dutch lad. He plays as a winger. He can play as an attacking midfielder centrally, but that would be Ramirez's role. So if Fisher plays, he's looked lively. He scored again in that game against Villa. He looks promising. He is a promising. He's a Danish international, been playing for Ajax, so that's one to watch out for. We've bolstered the defence as well, which is surprising. Well, in some ways surprising, because we had the tightest defence for most of the season last season. That's what our success was built on. But we've got problems. Danny Ayala, Player of the Season, Championship Player of the Season as well, or Championship Defender of the Season. He's not going to be fit for this game, which is a bit of a blow. So it left us short on cover. So we've got the likes of Espinosa coming in, who doesn't really play as a central defender as such. Barragan's there as well, another signing. So it's going to be interesting to see how we line up, particularly the two central defenders. That could be a weakness for Stoke to exploit.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting in the game. But now let's talk about Stoke for a little bit. Obviously on the Bear Pit TV, which is Stoke's fan channel. So give me your opinions on Stoke. What do you think for us this season? Do you think we'll keep a regular top 10, or do you think we'll struggle, or do you think we'll do well? Let me know what you think about Stoke.
I've got to be honest, I was surprised you finished 9th, but I was pleased, because there were certain teams in the North East I wanted to go down. 9th, I think, was a good achievement. I'm sure you'll be happy with that again this season. Goals seem to be your problem, and I know Joe Allen's come in, but I don't see a solution to that. So you're going to have to be tight in defence. I think if you can start scoring goals, you'll stand a chance of being up in that top 10, top half of the table again this season. But I can see some clubs looking at Stoke and thinking, well, we can take some points off them. But it's all up to Sparky and to see what he can do and how he lines his team up and whether he's smart enough. It's going to be interesting for us. It's a good test for us initially, because if we're going to succeed, we're at home. We've got to be taking points off teams like Stoke City. So, what's going to be happening at the Riverside this weekend is going to be a good test for us. Yeah,
it'll be interesting, because especially last season, I know we took a lot of points away, so it's going to be interesting to see if we can carry that on. But obviously, like you say, the striker is the main thing for us. We looked at Saido Berahino. Doesn't look like that one's going to pull off. Robin Van Persie, the same again, and we're just trying to find that striker, because we need the goals desperately. And I look at Negredo, and I think he's someone that we desperately need, and it does worry me going into this game.
Yeah, I think you've been a bit quieter in the transfer market than you should have been. I know Alan costs money, but I just think a solution up front would have given you that bit of a lift that you need going into the season. But hey, look, I'm a Borough fan. I'm going to be biased, aren't I? Ahead of this weekend particularly. You might turn around and turn us over by 4, who knows? But from an outsider's perspective, that's the view of Stoke City. Where will your goals come from? And if you don't get them, it could be a little bit more of a disappointing season this season than last.
So, finally, give us your score prediction for the game on Saturday.
Oh, I've got to go for the Middlesbrough to scrape it. I'll be happy with the 1-0 coming off the backside of the referee, just to give us 3 points starting for Premier League campaign. Look, Up The Boro TV is behind my own club, just like you are at Bear Pit. So I'm going 2-0 Boro.
I'm gonna go the complete opposite. I'm gonna go 2-0 Stoke. I think if we're on our game, we've got the quality. Our attacking players, our defence is a bit shaky at the moment. We need to bring someone in, but once our attacking players are on form, you look at Marko Arnautovic, Shaqiri, any of them, if they're on form, they can really prove the difference. And I think if they are, we could be a lot stronger than you on that day.
Well, let's see. Let's see what happens.
Cheers for doing the preview. If you want to watch any of Dave's content on Up The Boro TV, where can they find you?
It's there on the way. It's on YouTube. If you do a search for UTB TV 86, that's the big number at the back. That's obviously when we were reborn. So Up The Boro TV, UTB TV 86. That's on YouTube, or you can find the same details, utbtv86.tv on the web.
So if you want any Boro content, go to any of the links in the description below. If you've enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, leave a comment with your score prediction and starting 11 for the game on Saturday. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, Cheers for watching.